Anyway, this video is called On My Shelf and it was invented by Iain Broome. On Twitter I asked you guys to give me sets of 2 numbers, the first one below 12 and the second one below 20. But what I didn't say is what I was gonna do with them. Basically, the first number is the number for a shelf in my book collection, and the second number is a specific book on that shelf. Now, the idea behind this video is kind of that every book that you own has a story, and this kind of gives you a chance to talk about a book that you might not have talked about otherwise. The first tweet is from It's Mariel, and she said 4 and 13. So this is Kim by Kipling, and this is a book that I bought for university. I think I was supposed to read this for my Edwardian course. It was published in 1901, so that would make sense. I never read this, and I literally don't know anything about it. The only thing I can tell you about is this edition that I bought. We used to buy our books at university through like a student organization, and we got a 25% discount, and I have loads of regrets now, because at the time my parents were paying for the books, so obviously I wanted to get the cheapest ones, but now I have a lot of really ugly books. This one isn't as bad, but sometimes I wish that either I'd had an e-reader while I was studying. E-readers weren't really that popular back then. I'm that old. Or that I would have just bought nice versions, because it has happened on occasion that I've bought a newer version and then just donated the older one. The next person was @_Lulis, and she said 6 and 13, and that is Amelia Ann is Dead and Gone by Kat Rosenfield. Now this, if I'm not mistaken, is a book that was recommended by John Green in a video, I want to say. This cover is amazing. I haven't read this book. This is going to be a recurring theme in this video because I own a lot of books I haven't read. This is my life's library, okay? All I know is that this is a young adult novel, and I think it starts out with a girl's body being found. I'm gonna guess it's Amelia Ann. @Lucy the Reader said 1 and 14, and it is White Dog Fell from the Sky, a novel. I got this book at the Penguin blogger/vlogger evening. It was kind of an evening where there were a bunch of authors reading from their books, and sometimes you have books that you wouldn't have picked up before, but once you hear an author read from it and you see the author, you get a lot more interested in a book. Unfortunately this author wasn't there, but I picked it up anyway, and I have not read it yet. I do know that it is set in South Africa. I am actually planning on reading a couple of books that are set in South Africa. There are some books by Hotkey as well that are set in South Africa, so I might do a collective video about all of these once I finish them. @AnStacy_Gilbert said 9 and 5. And what we have here is Eldest by Christopher Paolini. I have told this story before in my unfinished series video because I haven't finished this series. I think this is probably an American copy because it's one of those books that just like falls open and it's amazing to read. It will never crack the spine, and that's where that story ends. And then finally @Chloraf said 5 and 13. You guys like your 13s. And that was A History of Tom Jones, a Foundling, which is a massive book from my classic Penguin collection. This was also assigned to me at university. I cannot remember for what course. I'm fairly certain I did not read it. The only thing I know about this book is that in the movie Becoming Jane, which is about Jane Austen, Mr. Lefroy, who is a man of the world, tells Jane to read this, so I'm fairly certain this was like a really scandalous book at the time. I'm trying to estimate how big the chance is that I will ever read this. I am doing my Back to University project where I'm trying to read some books that were assigned to me in university that I never got around to reading. I haven't quite started it yet. I'm making my list and trying to decide which ones I want to read. But this one will be in my personal library waiting for me. That was my On the Shelf video. I will probably do one of these again if you guys enjoyed it. If you want to do this video yourself, I'm gonna give you some numbers that you can use. 8 and 10, 2 and 5, 1 and 9, 7 and 12, and 7 and 1. I'll put all the numbers in the description. I'll talk to you guys later. Doei!
Hello, me cool.